Why hello, you people from Earth and outer space. It is I, Alexander from the universe. In this episode of Let's Rust, we'll get into flow control. In fact, we're gonna start using ifs. An if is a means of doing something depending on a certain set of conditions. In the previous episode, we talked about booleans. Now, booleans are either true or false, and using ifs, we can make something specific happen if and only if a certain condition evaluates true. First of all, we're going to create an age variable, because everybody loves knowing how old somebody else is. Let's say like 89. Let age equals 89. Now we want to do something specific if age is equal to 89, because 89 sure is a very special age for some people, at least over in Asia. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So let's go down a few lines and type in if. Now we're saying if. That's exactly what we're saying. Should something be something, then we want to do something. Now we do a blank space here, and type in if age is equal to, like in the previous episode, 89. If this part here, this expression, evaluates true, meaning that if age is in fact 89, this if is going to do something specific. Go down a line, make a code block. So if age is 89, it's going to execute this code block for us. So whatever's inside this code block is going to be run. So if age is equal to 89, we're going to print out you're at a very special age, young person, semicolon. Open up your handy command prompt, or terminal for that matter, and type in cargo run. And it's going to say, you're at a very special age, young person. So why does this happen? Well, we're saying if age is in fact 89, then execute whatever's inside of this code block here. If we were to change this, the value of age, to say 99, they're not a very special age anymore. So nothing's going to happen. But what if you wanted something to happen if they're not at a very special age? Because that would be really sad, right? Then underneath this code block, we can put in an else. So if this evaluates a true, this in here, execute this code block. But if it's not, execute this code block right down here. Then we want to print out you're dumb, but in a nice way. Like so. So we're going to run this, and it's going to say you're dumb, but in a nice way. So this means that the age variable needs to be exactly 89 in order for this in here to be executed. Otherwise, this is going to be executed. But perhaps we'd like the special age to be from 89 and upwards. And then using some of the techniques from the previous episode, we can type in is greater than or equal to. So age is greater than or equal to 89. We'll run this. You're at a very special age, young person. But if you're less than 89, wow. But if you're not 89, what if you're like 67? Because that's not a very special age now, is it? You run that, you're just going to say you're dumb, but in a nice way. The person's going to be real happy about that. Now, just like we could do with any boolean, we can type in an and here and say and age. Let's do something stupid. And age is equal to 2. So age has to be greater than 89, and it has to be 2. You know, that ain't going to work. Well, it's possible to type it, but it's not going to do very much, because age cannot be greater than or equal to 89 whilst being equal to 2. But this is going to be perfectly valid. It's only that it's always going to say you're dumb, but in a nice way. So let's instead say let's say we want the person to be in between an age span of 25 and 65. We can do greater than or equal to 25 and age is less than or equal to 65. Running this now, it's going to say you're dumb, but in a nice way, because we're older than 65. So what if we're somewhere around 45? It's going to work brilliantly. You're at a very special age, young person. So in order for us to have this if block executed, we need for whatever comes in here to be evaluated to true. Because using these special operators that we have here, we're using a certain type of Boolean arithmetic. And there are even more things you can do using Booleans. We're not going to get into that because then it's getting really advanced. And by all means, we're not actually creating ourselves an operating system here. Not yet, anyway. So whatever goes in here needs to evaluate to true. This also means that we could very well have a Boolean here, say man equals whatever, if age is greater than or equal to 25, you're a man, because that's how life works, man. You type in if man, just like that. If that is true, this block here is going to be executed, else that's going to be executed. So we run this. It's going to say you're a very special age, young person, or perhaps even better, you're a man. You're a man. Oh, you are? Yeah, because you're 45. Oh man, that's awesome. Now we could just as well set this as true, and this would have worked just as well. Or even controlled it using just setting this to false, and instead getting the you're dumb but in a nice way. This means that we could have a Boolean clever equals a false. So if clever, then do this. You're clever. And then we run this, and since wow, clever, if clever, bada bam boom, you're dumb but in a nice way, since we're not clever. Now perhaps for some reason we'd like to run this if here, if clever is false instead. Now we can negate this using an exclamation mark prior to the clever variable. By saving and running this now, we're gonna get you're clever, because we are so clever that we negated the clever variable, which was false, but now it's true because we're so clever, so we actually made ourselves clever. This Boolean up here is still set to false, it's only that we're checking for the opposite of clever. So clever, if it's false, it's now true in this evaluation of it. And you could complicate things quite a bit, and the easiest way to learn all this is by just sitting there staring at your screen for extended periods of time, because you could put brackets like this, or get yourself a nice book on Boolean algebra, but that's really boring, so don't do that. 1 equals 1, and 2 equals 2, and 1 is not equal to 9. Wow, that's an 8. Never mind. Works just as well. It's going to say you're dumb, but in a nice way. Because if this evaluates to true, which in fact it does, then this exclamation mark here negates it, so that this is executed nonetheless. This way of evaluation is used in a whole lot of other elements of Rust. So make sure you get that in that head of yours, man. In a nice way. Well, goodbye, you people from Earth and outer space. Feel free to leave a comment stating something either hilarious or perhaps even a like. Until next time.